And some of the remaining things that I've done with the car was install an Accusump. The Accusump is just a fail-safe if I'm at the track. If you hit a corner and maybe the car dips below 30 psi, this system is going to fill that gap. Essentially, it's like a three-quart system, and what it'll do is release oil for anything under 30 psi, and then once you're over 30 psi, it will start to refill the tank. In an extreme case, this AccuSump is going to continually evacuate oil from the tank to supplement the engine oil that's being starved. And then when you get oil again and there's pressure, it will refill back up and it'll keep doing that. Another major benefit of the AccuSump is that I can engage the system if the car has been sitting for a long period of time. So if the car has sat hypothetically for 6 months, I could put the car in the on position, and if the AccuSump switch is on and it sees that there's no oil pressure, what it'll do is evacuate the AccuSump and lube the system before I crank the car. And then once the engine is started, it'll see that there's oil pressure that is higher than 30 psi, so it'll start to fill up the AccuSump again. And if I just do normal street driving, I could flip the switch off and not even leverage the AccuSump while I'm driving on the street. Having it on a switch will let me decide if I want to use the system or not. If I am getting oiling issues like blow by or whatever, it's going to be easy to just turn the system off and not leverage it. I also replaced my Olin DFV coilovers with these JRZ RS Pro three-ways. Probably a lot more coilover than I'll ever need, but a great opportunity came and I was able to get them. I also upgraded my status racing seats with these Bride Zero MS seats, which are the haloed bucket seats. Another cool thing we did was this front tow hook. The reason I went this route on the front bumper is because when you tow the car, you want to strap it down to the tow points underneath the car. And all the aftermarket stuff utilizes that point. So if you were to tow your car to the track, then you could no longer use that point to tow. What Black Tracks did for me was weld a provision on the bumper support, and I just got a universal tow hook and had that hooked up. This is only purely for pulling straight. We're not using this as strap down points. We're not trying to pull in any other direction except going straight. I realize that this may not be as strong as the regular tow hook, but strapping the car down for towing outweighed that need. So this was a great compromise. I also redid my AC components while the car was down, redoing the evap, the condenser, the compressor, flushing all the AC lines, and then recharging the system. It blows ice cold now. It gets to about 40 degrees, 38 degrees when the car is moving. So I highly recommend, if you can, you should totally do it. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I also got a brand new 0 mile transmission. This was likely one of the last ones in the US before the price increase. And lastly, the AiM Solo DL2, which is a lap timer, but I'm doubling it up as my new gauges as well. I'm able to use up to 4 metrics on each screen with a various number of pages, but I've routed everything that I have in terms of sensors and converted it over to CANBUS, so it's all digital now. On my main screen, I'm just looking at oil pressure, water temp, oil temp, and boost, but I could look up wheel speed on ABS. I'm looking at HICUS. We'll have diff temp sensors on there. In the future, I'll just have safeties on, so if something does go wrong, it's just gonna bark at me and tell me, hey, something is wrong. In the future, I plan to do a digital dash, and all my gauges will move there, and then I will use this solely as a lap timer. But another huge benefit is we have it hooked up so that I can remove it, and if I want to put it in another car, I have an OBD2 plug that I can plug it up to and just use that instead.